Sania Yousaf was more than just a name. She was a vibrant symbol of hope and courage for countless young women across Pakistan and beyond. Born in the breathtaking Upper Chitral Valley, she carried the spirit of her homeland in her heart, even after moving to Islamabad at 16 to pursue her ambitious dream of studying medical sciences. Her father, a respected local activist, and her mother, a dedicated schoolteacher, nurtured in her a deep love for both her culture and the transformative power of education. This unique combination of tradition and modern aspiration made her a truly special voice in a world often caught between the past and the future, inspiring girls to embrace their roots while reaching for the stars. On social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram, where she had amassed over 1.1 million followers, Sania's presence was a breath of fresh air. Her content was a beautiful celebration of life itself. She would often appear in stunning traditional Chitrali attire, sharing the soulful melodies of folk music or dancing with an infectious joy that, just transcended the screen. Her posts were never just for entertainment. They carried a powerful message. She spoke passionately about the importance of girls' education, encouraging her followers to challenge restrictive old rules and to believe in their own potential. Sania's authenticity was her superpower, making her a relatable and trusted role model for young women navigating the complexities of conservative societies. What made Sania so profoundly inspiring was her ability to blend her heritage with a forward-thinking vision for women's rights. She showed girls that they did not have to choose between their culture and their freedom. Her online space was a classroom, a stage, and a sanctuary all at once. Here, girls from remote villages and bustling cities alike could see a reflection of their own dreams. Sania's message was simple, yet revolutionary. You can be proud of where you come from, and still demand a future where your voice matters, your choices are respected, and your ambitions have no limits. She was living proof that one young woman could ignite a movement of empowerment. Her influence grew with every post, creating a digital community founded on positivity and mutual support. In a landscape often filled with negativity, Sania's corner of the internet was a beacon of light. She was not just an influencer, she was a big sister to a generation of girls who were learning to find their own voices. She championed education as the key to unlocking a better future, and used her platform to amplify the stories and struggles of women in her community. Sania Yousaf was building more than just a following. She was building a future where every girl felt seen, heard, and empowered to dream without fear, a dream that made her a guiding star for so many. June 2, 2025 should have been a day of pure celebration for Sania Yousaf. It was her 17th birthday, a milestone she shared with her followers in a cheerful video that captured her bright spirit. The post, like so many before it, was filled with light and happiness. Yet, in a devastating turn of events, this day of joy became her last. Less than 12 hours after she shared her birthday celebration with the world, her life was brutally cut short. The very home in Islamabad that had been her launchpad for a future in medicine became the scene of an unthinkable tragedy, silencing a voice that had given hope to millions of young women who looked up to her. The perpetrator was not a stranger, but her own cousin, Umar Hayat, a 22-year-old who had also been trying to make a name for himself as a content creator. His actions were not random. They were a calculated and cold-blooded response to rejection. For days he had persistently tried to contact Sania, but she had consistently and firmly refused his advances. This was not a crime of passion, but an act of obsessive entitlement, fueled by a man's inability to accept a woman's right to say no. Her refusal, a simple assertion of her own boundaries, was met with the ultimate act of violence, a chilling reminder of the dangers women face for merely existing in their own power. On that fateful afternoon, Umar stalked Sania's neighborhood for hours before entering her home. Her parents were away, and only her aunt was present. Following a brief argument in which Sania once again told him to leave, he pulled out a pistol and shot her twice in the chest. In a final act of cruelty, he stole her iPhone, the very tool she had used to build her world of empowerment, and fled the scene. Rushed to the hospital, Sania was declared dead on arrival. The news sent shockwaves through the nation, transforming a day of celebration into one of profound and collective mourning. A bright light had been extinguished by a darkness she had bravely stood against. The response from the authorities was swift and decisive. The Islamabad police, under the direct leadership of Inspector General Syed Ali Nasir Rizvi, immediately launched a massive manhunt. Utilizing an extensive network of CCTV cameras and the Safe City system, they pieced together the killer's movements. Within a remarkable 20 hours, Umar Hayat was tracked down and arrested 300 kilometers away in Faisalabad. The police recovered the murder weapon, Sana's phone, and the clothes he wore during the attack. He reportedly confessed, citing his anger over her rejection. While the quick arrest brought a small measure of relief, it could not undo the immense loss of a young life filled with such promise. Sania Yousaf's murder is a heartbreaking story on its own, but it is not an isolated incident. Instead, it is a tragic part of a deeply disturbing pattern of violence targeting women in Pakistan and around the world who dare to claim a public space, especially online. Her death immediately brought to mind the case of Qandeel Baloch, the social media star who was strangled by her brother in 2016 for dishonoring their family. It echoed the killing of Hira Anwar, a 15-year-old from Quetta murdered by her father in 2024 over her TikTok videos. It also mirrored the brutal murder of Noor Mukadam in 2021, another young woman in Islamabad killed for rejecting a man. These women, like Sana, were punished for their visibility and independence. The list of names tragically extends beyond Pakistan's borders, revealing a global crisis of misogynistic violence. In the United States, we saw the case of Sania Khan, a Pakistani-American photographer killed in Chicago by her ex-husband in 2022 after she openly discussed her divorce on social media. In Iran, influencer Bana Mozaffari was violently attacked, and female journalists in countries like Mexico and Brazil face escalating threats and violence as their digital presence grows. This worldwide pattern shows that when women use online platforms to share their stories, advocate for their rights, or simply live their lives openly, they often become targets for those who feel threatened by their confidence and autonomy. This violence stems from deeply ingrained patriarchal mindsets that view women's bodies and lives as the property of men. When a woman like Sana builds her own platform, earns her own influence, and makes her own choices, it directly challenges this toxic worldview. Experts like journalist Amber Rahim Shamsi point to a crisis of masculinity, where some men react to female empowerment with aggression because it disrupts their sense of control. The online world, while a tool for liberation, also becomes a breeding ground for hate. Misogynistic comments and threats, often dismissed as just words, can create a dangerous environment where online harassment escalates into real-world violence. The statistics paint a grim picture of this reality. The Human Rights Commission of Pakistan reported 346 women were killed in so-called honor crimes in 2024 alone. Furthermore, the Digital Rights Foundation has handled over 20,000 cases of tech-facilitated gender-based violence since 2017, with an estimated 80% of online harassment against women going unreported. This is not just a failure of individuals, it is a systemic failure to protect women. Sana's murder is a stark reminder that digital empowerment comes with immense peril, and the fight for women's safety must be waged both online and offline, in our homes and in our laws. In the immediate aftermath of Sana's murder, a wave of grief and outrage swept across Pakistan and honestly, the entire globe. The hashtag Justice for Sania Yousaf quickly trended on social media, becoming a rallying cry for millions. It was like a digital vigil where people shared her videos, mourned her loss, and demanded accountability. However, alongside this outpouring of support, a darker conversation emerged. Disturbing comments celebrating her death and blaming her for her fate began to circulate, highlighting the very misogyny she fought against. Her murder was chillingly described by some as a message to every defiant girl, exposing the deep-rooted hostility that women with a public voice often face. This digital outcry quickly spilled onto the streets. On June 5, 2025, activists from the Aurat March organized a powerful protest at the National Press Club in Islamabad. Participants held banners with powerful slogans like, "Saying no is my right and those who kill in the name of honor are greatest dishonorable." It was a defiant public stand against the culture of violence that took Sana's life. Prominent figures, including myself and fellow actors Saba Kamar and Aima Baig, joined the chorus of condemnation. We called her death a reflection of a world failing girls, using our platforms to amplify the call for systemic change and to ensure her story would not be forgotten. Experts and rights organizations also raised their voices, demanding more than just one arrest. The National Commission on the Status of Women and the Digital Rights Foundation called for robust legal reforms to protect online personalities. Nighat Dad, the founder of the Digital Rights Foundation, powerfully stated, Sania's murder highlights how misogynistic narratives online can escalate in real life. She emphasized that online threats must be taken seriously by law enforcement as clear precursors to physical harm. Legal scholar Dr. Sania Khan argued that true justice requires tackling the patriarchal mindsets that normalize violence, ensuring that this case becomes a catalyst for broader societal change. To protect other young women, we must all take action. For girls online, simple steps can make a big difference. Use strong, unique passwords. Be mindful of the personal information you share. Use privacy settings to control who sees your content, and immediately block and report anyone who makes you feel unsafe. But the burden of safety should not fall on girls alone. Families must create supportive environments where girls can speak openly about their online experiences without fear of blame. Social media platforms have a duty to enforce their policies against hate speech more aggressively, while governments must strengthen laws and ensure that perpetrators of gender-based violence are brought to swift and certain justice. Sania Yousaf's life was a testament to the power of a single voice to inspire change, and her death has become a powerful symbol in the ongoing fight for women's rights. She was a bridge between tradition and modernity, a young woman who proudly celebrated her Kshatriya heritage while fiercely advocating for a future where girls could be educated, independent, and free. Her story is a painful reminder of the perils that accompany digital empowerment, but honestly, it is also a beacon of hope. The global conversation sparked by her tragedy has forced a necessary and uncomfortable reckoning with the violence that seeks to silence women who dare to shine. Her legacy is not one of victimhood, but of immense courage. In her short 17 years, Sania accomplished what many hope to achieve in a lifetime. She created a community, inspired a generation, and started a movement. The calls for justice for Sania Yousaf evolved into a broader demand for justice for all women who face harassment, threats, and violence simply for being themselves. Her story has been etched into the public consciousness, serving as a permanent reminder that the fight for online safety is a fight for women's lives. It has given new urgency to the work of activists, policymakers, and allies everywhere. The path forward requires a collective commitment to building a safer world for girls. This means teaching boys and men about consent and respect from a young age. It means holding social media companies accountable for the hate that festers on their platforms. It means creating and enforcing laws that protect women from both online and offline harm. Sania's father, in his profound grief, has called for her legacy to be one of education and empowerment, urging communities to support their daughters' dreams rather than suppressing them. Her spirit lives on in every girl who now feels braver to speak up, to learn, and to lead. Sania Yousaf is gone, but her influence is unbreakable. Her life and tragic death have become a catalyst for change, igniting a fire in the hearts of those who believe in a more just and equitable world. Her story will continue to be told, not as a cautionary tale to scare girls into silence, but as an inspiring saga of a girl who dared to dream out loud. In her memory, we must work tirelessly to build a society where every girl can share her voice, pursue her ambitions, and celebrate her life without fear. Sania's light was extinguished too soon, but the glow she left behind will guide the way for generations to come.